Today, I'm going to tell you the story of the doll whose eyes held stolen sunrises. Let's begin our adventure. In a quaint little village, nestled between towering oaks and babbling brooks, stood a tiny cottage adorned with colorful flowers. Inside the cozy abode resided an old woman named Agnes, her heart as warm as the hearth that burned brightly in the corner of her humble living room. Agnes was no ordinary woman. She had a very special gift. Every morning, without fail, she would greet the dawn with a gentle smile and catch the first rays of sunlight in the palm of her hand. The sun's golden essence would flow into her, filling her with energy and light. It was said that Agnes could share this magic with others, but she had never given it another thought. One day, as she wandered through the village market, she stumbled upon a charming doll with eyes as empty as the morning sky. The doll was exquisite, crafted from fine wood and adorned with intricate detail. Agnes could not resist the allure of the doll's beauty, and so she bought it, hoping that it would bring joy to one of her many friends. Back at her cottage, Agnes placed the doll in a corner, admiring its delicate features. As the sun began to rise the following morning, something extraordinary happened. The sun's rays filled the room, and they seemed drawn to the eyes of the doll. The golden light poured into the doll's empty sockets, and suddenly it sprang to life. The doll thanked Agnes for rescuing her from a lonely existence and asked if she could share some of her gift of sunlight. Overwhelmed but touched by the doll's kindness, Agnes agreed, and thus began their daily ritual. Every morning, as the sun rose, the doll would open its eyes wide, allowing the golden light to fill it with life. As word spread throughout the village about the enchanted doll, people flocked to Agnes' cottage to witness the magical spectacle. The villagers marveled at the sight of the doll, whose eyes held stolen sunrises, and they were reminded of the beauty and power that lay within the simple act of giving. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, a darkness began to settle over the village. The sun's rays grew dimmer, and soon enough, not even the stolen sunrises could bring light to the doll's eyes. It was then that Agnes realized the toll her gift had taken on the world around her. Determined to set things right, Agnes approached the doll with a heavy heart. "My dear friend," she said, "I have come to an understanding. I must stop stealing the sunrises and allow them to nourish the world as they were meant to." The doll nodded sadly, understanding the weight of Agnes' decision. Together, they sought out a way to restore the sun's brightness. Through their research, they discovered a forgotten spell that could harness the power of the sun and bring it back to its rightful place. With trembling hands, Agnes cast the spell, and as she did so, the sun began to regain its strength. The first rays of sunlight spilled forth once more, bathing the village in warmth and light. The doll's eyes glowed brighter than ever before, filled with gratitude and newfound hope. From that day on, Agnes continued to share her gift of sunlight with the world, but only when the sun was truly ready to rise each morning. The doll's eyes remained bright and full of life, and together they brought joy to all who visited Agnes' cottage. The lesson of the doll whose eyes held stolen sunrises is one of understanding the importance of balance and the power of giving. It teaches us that while it is natural to want to share our gifts with others, we must also be mindful of the impact they may have on the world around us. And most importantly, it reminds us that friendship, kindness, and selflessness can bring light into even the darkest corners of our lives.